Hello everyone, I have a journal to share with you today. I've named her Sarah. She's pretty big. She's got approximately 84 pages front to back. She's 8 3/4 by 6 1/4, approximate sizes. Lots of mixed media. I've double stitched the signatures in. I've also reinforced the signatures and the spine like I typically do because I heavily embellish. And I've got some applique on there and some embroidered pieces. These are very old glass beads here, buttons there and there. These beads are some vintage, some new, metal, glass, acrylic, all kinds of different beads. So I did every strand. Sometimes I double them, but did every one. And this is another old book. This is an old book cover that I rescued, and this is an additional one that I've added these two little pocket thingies here. It's not easy getting them out, but they get out. And just a couple of prompts on them. They're very, very stiff tags that I made, and it's got some lots of shiny texture on both of them. So there's one here and one there. I'll let who gets it read the other prompt. And just some stitching I've done. I've used some of the old vintage and antique, just doll and baby doll slips and petticoats and stuff like that. I added this metal piece that I've had for a long time. I love using a little bling with a little grubbiness and metal with lace, and a little piece of applique. This is a copy of a postcard that I have, and I think she's beautiful, but she can come out, so you can add any picture or cabinet card there that you like. I just tuck her in there. And this also turns. You can turn it up there, so if you put something else larger in there, you can turn that. I like dangling just a piece of muslin for the closure. And I've got new and vintage ephemera. Let me go through this as quickly as I can because I don't want this video to be too long. There's just pieces of applique here. There's a little bit of glue at the top of this applique, but you can take that off. I added some rusty pins, a pin there, and just a piece of some of the clothing that I was talking about that I have taken apart. This in the background, I used a lot of old book page and also the old periodicals from the 1800s. And I just love that for backgrounds. I've got lots of ephemera in here. This is an old piece from a tablecloth, I believe. And this is a receipt here. I have taken this French vocabulary card and just altered it with a piece. I've got some crumbly, really old invoices and stuff that are crumblies, but I like to use that on stuff like this. A very old French letter in the beloved blue paper. And it does have a stamp there that's embossed, and it's from 1860, I'm gonna say 69. Does it say that here? No, 1863. And here's an original receipt from 1869. And I just liked that it said yarn and, stuff like that in there. I just think that's pretty. So this to me would be like her book of all the things that she may have collected or just wanted to keep. And as you know, this is 1895. As you know, that a lot of my journals aren't necessarily for, an everyday writing journal, but you can put little memos and little things here and there and write on stuff, just little keepsakes. So I hate to say a journal because, some people say stuff about that, but it's a book, okay? Keepsake book. Made a pocket here out of, I don't have much of this left, but I really, really love it. I love anything that has like that little ruffle on it. And this is really old. And I wanted to just treasure the little pieces. So I have little pieces of it in, in the journal. I'm going to call it a journal, aren't I? Collaging gesso, it's my favorite medium to use. and some stitching, a little bit of embossing there. Made a little pad of paper of these very old. These are just from coffee dyed paper here, but a very old piece of script paper. And this is vellum, and it's really just a snippet of it, but the writing is just so beautiful. A receipt here from the 1800s, and another one, a railroad receipt. So I'm gonna be careful because some of this stuff can just get really fragile. So this is a flip up. You probably can't see all of it, but I made this little tuck, and any digitals I use, and I don't use that many, just pieces here and there, but any of them that I have used, I will try to look them all up and add those to the description box below. This is just a little tuck, but I really like that girl, and I put her in there, but a place to write there. Here I've just altered this envelope and made a little tuck spot here. There's actually 2 tucks in there. Another vocabulary card, a little piece of ephemera. I embossed some of the, it wasn't the original plastic from the envelope, it was something else. And then I just coffee dyed a little bit of it. This is a copy of a picture of an old wedding, and there's the back. So you can replace the picture for sure. And this made a pocket out of this paper here. My rusty bowl clip there. A very old postcard, and I just love her dress. And this is an old piece of, it's pretty big, of French writing. It's a document here, piece of a document anyway. And I just love that, and it could be used in so many ways. So I added that to this, and I love the paper. It's nice and thick. Put that clip back. I added some old, that's an old bead here and there. Did some decoupage here with some rice paper in colors that I thought would match, and added this dress here, but you could write in the back. Here's just some of the in-between stuff that I supported. The background here, again, is just all collaged, and I used this, I think it was like a gift card envelope, and I just flattened it out, did some collaging, and with not only the old papers and book papers, but little pieces and snippets of lace. Did some sewing, and then made this little pocket. This is an original postcard. Check out those hats. They're so cute. I love it. So you can replace that. The little vintage lace there at the end. And this is just a collage of things. This was actually from a very old doll dress, and just added some bits and pieces of vintage lace and part of a doily here. Did some crazy stitching on the end there, but there's a little area in the top of that as well. Just made a piece of ephemera out of a print that, and I'll put the link in it. I believe that was Secret Mementos. And here is a receipt from 1898. Some of this is fragile, so but I'm sure very usable still. 1898. And I just folded it up. I liked that the little date stood out there. And I love these colors. This is a really, really old, fragile piece of lace, and I just loved the color. It's that darker tan. I added this vintage button here and this image, little rusted bell, and it just folds open here. It's a copy of a postcard that I own of all these lovely ladies. I added this little pop out here, digital in back, and you can have lots of writing space there. They have some mixed media paper, so it could be painted on, I'm sure. Made a pocket out of this, and it has just got lots of old invoices in it, mostly 1800s, early 1900s. This is from a French ledger of mine, and it's both sides, and it's that nice laid paper. And let me put it back in here. And some coffee dyed paper, areas to write on, and made a pocket here. It's got some old ephemera. I want to keep some surprises, but I've included, like, you know, letters. This is from 1913, and it's a French letter, and it's pretty big. So there are areas if somebody wanted to add words. It is, because of the fold, been folded so many times, that it is splitting there, but it's just lovely to have that. And I did decoupage on the inside as well. And here's a little tuck here, so something could be tucked in that. Couple empty pages there. I know. Made some pockets here. These are from, I think, Triple V Vintage. And the clocks here, some lace and some gesso, some old lace here, and little paper scraps that are folded up. An area here for a few words, some vintage buttons. Yes, I didn't end up finding them. And if you know, you know, I mentioned it the other day. Here is just an old, it's a picture of like old umbrellas and stuff. I fell in love with this digital, and I will definitely put the artist in the description box. There's a lot of other pictures that come with that. And then this old antique vintage French envelope. Gotta say that. Another image of one of those girls, and I put an old piece of ledger page, a blank one, and some coffee dyed paper on the back. And then I did line it with some really pretty fabric. And I just liked how that turned out. I think I'll flip it this way with a little bit of that blue showing. There. Little scrap from one of those dresses. A flip up here with a digital card. Some vintage buttons here. Pretty background here. And I'm not gonna say it wrong because I've said it wrong so many times, but I'll put that digital in the description box too. Oh, a random little purple thread. Don't know. I made this tag here, and I added some sari ribbon and beaded some string here. There's a little bit of a tuck area there, and in back I added some gold leaf around the edges of this, collaged, gessoed. Very old piece of doily here. And I have a rose charm here. I made this little book. I covered it, and it does have little pages in it. And I'll let whoever gets that. That was from the cover of, I think it was 2 journals ago. Or 1. I don't know. I lose track. And it just put some old book page on there. And rusted a clip here, made a pocket out of this digital, and just altered the face of this flinch card. It's an old flinch card, and I just love how that man's helping her. It's just cute. So flip it open, a couple pages, just a little collage, and I tried not to, you know, overthink and get inside my head, so it did take me a while to do this, but I really think I can, you know, speed up the process a little bit if I don't get in my head so much. Here's just a vintage postcard, and I just thought it was so pretty. 1939, I think, and it's embossed, and it's got all those little pink roses around it, and made this little tuck. Another clip, just a stamped tag. I love the name of this music piece, so I do use this a lot. This is printed on parchment paper. Oh, wind that heard my weeping. And it just reminded me of how solemn this girl is here. Just some old book page, a print, and a digital that I just used her in and cut her out. And just some old lace tied on the paper clip. Here's an old piece of a document, and this is an announcement card from 1897, and it does open, so there is room to add words to it. An old postcard, an original. I love her dress too. And I always like to look at not just the dresses and the hair and the face, of course, but all the little props they put like in that studio setting with the backgrounds that they used. I just think that that's really cool. And this is another coveted piece for me because I really love just the old feel of it and the texture. So anyway, I'm a little obsessed with that. Don't have too much left, so I'll be on the hunt for more. And another clip, and I just made this little fold-out piece and used this little magazine picture here, some book page. It says on letter writing, and I've used that a little bit throughout. Let me just gently take that off. And this opens up, flips open with some paper pad, this peachy pink color, avocado dyed paper too. Little scraps of the dresses. This flips open like this. This could be written on, or you could put a piece of paper in here, a little note. This is a 1878 receipt. I liked this little poetry thing, so I added it on some paper and just opens up for more writing. Maybe add some more poetry on there, just something that I think that she would have kept in her book, her little keepsake book. And I put this old skeleton key on here, so it holds it in, a little hardier of a clip. Made a tuck here, and the background paper and gessoed. And this is an old glassine envelope. It's already naturally yellowed. It has some numbers on it, which I thought was really cool. Another letter. This one's from 1933, and it looks like it's French, I'm pretty sure. A receipt from the 1800s, and a letter or notes that I cannot read. But I just loved the script, and I loved the color, and it really went well. There's another area and pocket there to add more. Obviously, any of this can be switched out. I added this little booklet thing in here, and I'm glad I did. I think it really adds something. I love the color tones with it. And you just untie this. I put these little flowers in there, a little cameo that I put together, and added this, and I rusted this clip and drilled a hole in it. And that just, this is a pocket. Added another one of those girls, a receipt here from the early 1900s. And this is like from the Coca-Cola. It was falling apart, this invoice ad thing, $18.99. So this just has some writing area here. Added little pieces of stuff and a little pretty picture, and it's a card on the back. Just some extra writing paper. And tie this back up really quick. I don't want to forget to do it later. And I go through my journals before I ship them and just make sure. And if I find something that needs another dangle or whatever, I just add it afterwards. I don't alter it, so what you see is what you get, but there might be a few extras. Here's another book page collage. Added this little paper clip here and a piece of one of the dresses, a postcard, and lots of little pieces of ephemera and ledger paper. Let me see if I can. And that's the back. And I liked this. It said, how to decorate and furnish a bedroom. And I just love the black and white illustrations, especially, you know, in the tannish colors like that. And I'll let whoever gets this go through all of this ephemera. I made sure there was a lot of it in here. And of course, I always add a little bag of more just because I can. Oh, I didn't put my clip back. I really like the brownish cameo here. There we go. And this is a flip up, some French writing there. And I have this, I don't know why, it's just the combo of the grayscale black with the tan. I just love it. Used a few scraps here and added that. And this was really cool. It's these two little girls, And it is a flyer thing for traditional English skipping rhymes and Victorian weaving looms from 1860. Now the slip isn't from 1860, but it's it's just really interesting, the good old days things in the textile industry in Yorkshire. I just think it's exceptionally cute, that's all. So I added that. Couple of pages here. This page, I think it's a blank page from a ledger, and it's tissue paper. Got a little number up in top, which is always cute. Added this tuck here with some sewing. I altered this flash card, and this is another piece of that stuff that I'm hoarding. And I cut this out, did fussy cutting. I don't know, who am I right now, right? And some sewing up here. Added this little bit of yarn and a bow. And the back has a tuck, and I just put a little ticket in there. And I like the way it turned out. And here is another postcard. It's like in the same exact color, so I couldn't resist. I had to add it. It's from 1907. Here's a page from one of the periodicals, a girl's cloak, and it has like some fashion things. And I just went off of this where it was talking about Paris fashions, and I just loved this a lot, so I didn't want to add the gesso to that, but of course it can be added later. And I added, instead of a bulb pin for everything, I just added this rusted safety pin and this charm that I've just rusted up a little bit. And this original cabinet card of this family. Who knows, it could be relatives of hers. And some paper here, and I made a tuck out of some embossed paper that I made. Collage and gesso, and an old postcard. And this is the arcade in Cleveland, Ohio. And a little tuck here, added some more of that. I altered this paper clip and just added some vintage lace at the top. I loved the way it turned out. And then just added a bulb pin with a couple little beads and a little envelope charm. This here it says on, I like the background there, on letter writing again. This is from a little book, and I really love these little books, and now I'm on the hunt for them. And it's just, a lady's book. And there's a little on letter writing. I thought that was cute. And here's an actual letter. And this is from 1837. Folded letter, handwritten in French. Isn't that beautiful? I just appreciate it. And it goes on the back as well. And I'm very careful with that. And I love how you can see where the little seal was, the wax seal on that. So that is included there. And I paper clipped, using that paper clip. I purchased this old doily, and it's very light and thin, and it's embroidered, and I just appreciate that, and I think it's really pretty. This I slipped in, so you can take this out, have more areas to write in and to note stuff down, and a Victorian calling card here that opens, and it's got no name, so a name could be written in there. Looks like somebody had it in a scrapbook. Old piece of music paper there. I used this envelope from 1893 and just made this little tuck spot and add some sewing onto this postcard. And this little piece here from some vintage lace. And then it opens. I did some collaging on the inside in this old deed. And it looks like it is from 1897. And it does open up quite large. And I know some people have seen this before. Look at this writing, though. I know people have seen deeds before, especially from this time frame. But this writing is just absolutely beautiful. I think it's just lovely. It's big, and there's that, the darker swoops. And I just appreciate the writing from that time so much. Look at all the areas there. And the little stamps or I don't know, little seals. It is, you know, fragile. It's coming apart a little bit, but it has survived all this time. And I like that part of it. Who would have thought when they received these deeds that people like us many, many years later would be using them in such a way. Here is a vintage picture. I loved these girls. I got a kick out of them. I love black and whites, and it's a postcard. And these, I have a few of these, and I really don't know what they are, but it looks like you could have mailed them. And somebody, I'm sure, will probably chime in and say, and then there's a little sack there. So you could, whatever you put in there, it looks like you could have mailed it. And I just added some collage, some digital paper there. And with that picture, a couple more blank pages. I know, right? Me. This one opens up. This is a digital. Opens up here, and I just did some collaging and added some blank paper there. And these 2 pages, and this one. And here is another example. This is, I love the old postcards. And look at this chair. I mean, okay, I love the lady's dress. I love her hair. I love the flowers in the back. And the scroll, I just absolutely love that. But can we just appreciate this chair for a few minutes, you know? Oh, my goodness. That is just beautiful. And I just here just used a scrap, an applique that I've grunged up. This is a part of one of those petticoats. And there's some background here from old book pages and periodicals. And I'm just in awe of this picture. And I just altered a paper clip here with some yarn, very old button, and some pieces and scraps that I had at the end of that. There we go. And then this is one of my favorites, and it says a song without words, and I just loved how I felt like that went together. Used another piece of an applique, and this is another piece of that material with some vintage lace here in the back. There's not a pocket. Pocket could be added. I didn't think it needed one, and I just love the way that laid. And it says journal up there, and that is the back. So that is my little grubby, my big grubby. Look at her. So for being that thick, the spine allows you to flip through it so freely, and it lays open really well. And I like to do that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, you guys. My next one is a, you know, foofy kind of really pretty pretty picture that I used for it, and I hope it turns out, and I will bring it to you within the next couple of weeks. I do have some small journals I'm working on, so those may be done sooner. Thanks for watching and for hanging in there, and check for availability in my Etsy shop. I'll leave that Etsy shop link in the description box below. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.